Hello, all of you wonderful people, and welcome into today's very special 100th episode of the Top Cut Yu-Gi-Oh! Podcast. My name, of course, is Sunny. I am here with my co-host, Caleb.
Yo!
And we want to thank all of you, the wonderful, wonderful, wonderful listeners of our podcast, for your love and support over these last 10 months, 11 months?
Almost a year.
Yes, it really is overwhelming to us, the love and support that we've gotten from all of you, the listeners. And of course, that starts with the patrons. So a huge shout out goes out to Austin Johnson, Salix, Kane Martin, Damian Zink, Gate Guardian Support, Marshawn Jones, Master of Isa, Mr. Herbie's, Witchcrafter Main 2022, Zyphorus, Zephyrus, AD, Aaron Gardner, Anthony Lila, Appaloosa is a Floodgate, Brandon, Dank Nugs, Dino Nugs, now Dank DNA, Kevin Hugh, Mountain Man, Owen Alvarado, Pig, Rudolph, Sneaky Links, What Does Potted Reed Do, Chris Myers, MBT's Hard Leg, Old Man Red, Ray Powell, Slaking It Up, and Sunny Sweet. Thank you all so much for your continued support. If you would like to support the podcast at no extra cost to you, of course, always be sure to check out our TCG Player affiliate link in the description down below. If you want to go the extra mile to support the podcast, also, you can always leave us a rating on Apple, iTunes, or Spotify. Or if you're listening on YouTube, be sure to go ahead and like, comment, subscribe. Let us know what you think about the podcast there. So, with all of that said, let's go ahead and get on into today's episode of the podcast. So, as you all know, we've been gone for a little while.
Oh yeah, it's been a long trip.
Yes, that is the understatement of the century. So, where have we been, you might be wondering?
Well, let's see. Last weekend, so this would be the weekend of the...
Second and third.
Yes. No? Hold on. Let me double check my calendar and make sure.
Oh.
Yes, second and third. We were at a regional in Mississippi on Saturday.
Yes.
And then literally the very next day, and then after that, we drove to New Orleans, where we had a regional in Kenner the next day.
Right.
Then came back.
Yep.
Took a week off to kind of chill for a minute before we left Thursday night, like 8:30 to arrive, and drove all the way through the night to drive all the way to North Carolina.
And boy, was it a drive.
What was it, 13 hours?
13 and a half each way.
Yup. So we get there around 10, 11 o'clock, sign in for the YCS the next day.
Yep. So I literally drove all the way both times, except for on the way back, I pulled over and let somebody else drive for like a couple of hours, got some sleep, and then got back in the seat and kept on going. So
yep.
If my energy level is not quite there, it's because we are recording the day we came back from Charlotte.
Yeah, like we literally got home at like 10. Well, I got home at like 10:30 this morning. So Sonny probably got home at 10:40, like 10 minutes later.
Yeah. And then I had to unpack everything, set up all of the equipment, because we brought all of our equipment with us, even though we ended up not being able to get a good chance to record while we were up there. So it's been
rough.
Yeah.
But we're here to talk about the regional and the YCS, actually. So,
yeah.
Regionals, plural.
Well, let's go ahead and recap the regionals first, and we'll come back up for the YCS a little later. So, starting on the April the 2nd, we were at 1UP TCG in Mendenhall, Mississippi.
Great card shop. Definitely go.
Yeah, definitely. Not as good as ETB Games in Alexandria, Louisiana.
Yeah.
But it's a cool shop. It's got good ownership. It's got good people, good judge staff, and we really enjoyed our time there for the most part. I'll be honest, not everything is perfect at that particular shop, but as a whole, that was our first regional back in about 9 years.
Give or take.
Right. So it was really good to go in and knock the dust off before going to the regional the next day in Kenner, Louisiana, which is basically New Orleans.
Yeah.
The very next day. So I played the same deck at all 3 events. I played Sword Soul Tenyi with like a Hauki Fibrax engine and stuff like that, but I wasn't playing the adventure package or the Basil Rose Shoot Rose Dragon package. And then the first regional, I didn't do great. I was like 1 in 3 through 4 rounds, so I went ahead and dropped. And there was also like an hour and a half delay after that 4th round because somebody got all their stuff stolen. So I went ahead and dropped.
That's about, yeah, actually, I think we dropped at the same time.
Yeah, because we got up at 4 a.m. and drove to the regional. And so we went ahead and dropped through round 4 because we drove 4.5 hours. And then when we got done with that regional, we drove another 3 hours to New Orleans that night.
Yeah.
So we said, we're not going to hang out here all day.
Yeah, we're not. No, neither one of us are going to be able to top. So if we drop now, we can just go ahead and get out of here and like get to New Orleans at a decent time.
Which worked out good because there ended up being another delay later on. And that regional did not end until after 10 o'clock.
Yeah, so we would have been getting into New Orleans at like 2, 3 a.m.
Right.
Sleeping for a couple hours and then hitting up another regional.
And then driving another 4 hours home.
Yeah.
So, but I think my matchups in that regional, I don't remember all of them exactly. Round 1, I know I played against the Mirror, and that guy honestly just drew better cards than I did. I lost that round due to straight variance. Round 2, I played against Virtual World Punk.
Oh.
It was Punk Virtual World. And he...
Such a cool deck, I think.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty cool deck, too. That was actually one of the listeners. That was a listener. It was very cool. I got recognized.
Oh, that is cool.
Yeah. So I lost to him. And at this point, I'm already 0-2. It's just been a heck of a day. Round 3, I want to say I played against Invoked. And I beat him pretty handedly. And round 4, I don't even remember what I played against. But we just dropped right there. So, we just dropped. Like I said, there was an hour and a half delay. And it was because somebody's stuff got stolen.
And they, police were called, since it was kind of a smaller event.
Yeah, I think it was 138 people.
Yeah, they just, asked, hey, if anyone's willing to let their to let us search through their stuff, we'd greatly appreciate it.
Right.
Yeah, that took about an hour.
Yeah, it definitely did take some time.
And then wasn't there another hour delay where,
I know that there was an hour plus delay later on, but I don't know what it was about.
Yeah, no, because I remember there was a delay there also for like a judge making a ruling and the dude getting kind of angry about it.
That was the weekend before.
That was the weekend before. Okay.
Yeah, we talked about that.
Yeah, they're at the same place, so I kind of got it mixed up.
Gotcha. And then so we left there, drove 3 hours to New Orleans. And did the New Orleans regional on Sunday, and that one went way better for me.
Like not only was it run much more smoothly, we were done with round 4 at like 2 o'clock.
Literally, yeah.
Of how many rounds was like 8?
7.
Yeah, 7-round tournament.
It started. Okay, so just to give you an idea, the Mendenhall regional with 138 players, they did 8 rounds. Signups ended at 10. The tournament didn't end until like 10.
Yeah.
And they did not play out top cut. So that was just a cut to top 16. The tournament didn't end until like 10 p.m.
Yeah.
And then
round 2 ended at like 1 o'clock.
Right.
Just for reference.
That 4 hour delay, not 4 hour, that hour and a half delay caused round 4 and round 5 didn't start until like 4:30 in the afternoon.
Yeah.
And we were just done. But at the next regional, this regional was run by the side deck. This is the same people that run a lot of the remote duel events. They run the remote duel YCSs, things like that. They actually drove from Lexington, South Carolina, all the way to New Orleans to vend at this event and run this event. Signups ended at 9:45. Pairings went up at 10:10. We had a break after around 2 or 3 around lunchtime. We had about a 20-minute break. And the entire event was over at 5 o'clock.
Yep.
7 rounds.
And that also includes Top Cut. Didn't they play out top or no?
No, they did not play out Top Cut. Regionals, they don't play out Top Cut.
Okay. But like right at 5, they're like, okay, we're done. Shoo.
Yeah, it was honestly one of the most well-run events I've ever been to. They rented out the Pontchartrain Convention Center in Kenner.
Beautiful convention center.
It was a great venue. They had great facilities. They had a concession stand open, which is something they didn't even have at YCS Charlotte this past weekend. Which, I mean,
Part of that, I think, was due to the fact you just go upstairs. There's a bunch of places to eat upstairs.
Right. In the Charlotte Convention Center, there was like 4 restaurants you could choose, 3 or 4 restaurants you could choose from.
Yeah. Plus, there's also like a Starbucks if you just wanted a drink.
Well, I was including Starbucks.
Yeah. Then like a bunch of vending machines.
Right.
So they didn't need the concession stand.
Right. But in New Orleans, they actually had a full concession stand open,
which was super nice.
Right. So I'm gonna say that it's like we had 7 rounds. Round 1, I played against Live Twins, which I beat. Round 2, I played against Based, which I lost to. That guy ended up getting second at the event, though, so I don't feel too bad about that. Keep in mind...
Hey, we take those.
Well, keep in mind, the Kenner Regional we counted between 20 and 25 players that have either top 32 or better a YCS, including several YCS winners.
Now you said there's about 20 of them, right?
20 to 25,
20,
yes.
20, 25. There's 110 people there.
104.
So roughly 20 to 25% of the player base there were
YCS toppers.
Yeah.
It was an extremely stacked regional. It was one of the most hard-fought events that I've ever been to.
Oh, yeah, no, I walked away from that event just mentally exhausted.
Right.
You know, because whenever I play, I put forward 110 just to squeak by at all. I had to put like 150.
Yeah, I definitely.
Man.
I mean, I put forth my full effort in every event. Of course, that's what you do. But that event was just different. That event was one of the most intense competitive events I think I've ever been to, honestly.
So for these 2 events, on the one in Mendenhall, Sonny wore his Top Cut shirt, and then the next day I wore mine in New Orleans, because we each only have one shirt, so
yeah.
So we're not wearing a dirty shirt.
Right.
Well, I sit down for my first round. My opponent sets up and he looks at my shirt and goes, "Oh man, you listen to Top Cut too? Man, they're great." I was like, "I don't listen to them.
I am them."
I am them. He just kind of squinted at me. We got the matchup. He looked at it and goes, "No." I was like, "Yes, sir."
Yeah, we got recognized a bunch at all of these events in Mississippi, in New Orleans, in Charlotte. We got recognized,
which is super cool.
Yeah, it was honestly surreal to me because that is just not something that you expect when. In our eyes anyway, we're still like some of the smallest creators in the community, right?
If not the smallest.
Right, and we are niche creators. We're like micro niche creators in an already niche community. So for us to get recognized, especially when we don't even have video on our episodes, is really kind of crazy.
To be fair, It also helped that, we wore our shirts both days.
Yes, of course.
But they only did that because where we were staying had a washer and dryer, so we got back, changed shirts, washed our shirts. They were
for the YCS, you mean?
Yeah, for the YCS. But yeah, like I said, I personally just think that a good chunk of it was the shark, because then it allowed them to connect Top Cut to the voices.
Right. It was similar to well, you know, I'll get into that more later. Actually, I want to talk about that later specifically. But so round 1 was live twin, round 2 was based, which I lost. Round 3 I played against DDD. That one was a tie, and I very specifically remember it was a tie because it was my own fault. Because we had a minute left to time. I'm turboing through my combo. He has no interruptions. I go full Hulk combo, and I'm at the end. I summon Chi Zhao, so I've got Auroradon, Chi Zhao, and I'm getting my search off of Chi Zhao. And what do I search off Chi Zhao? A minute left in time.
Well, my first thought is the long one.
Right, of course.
Discard burn. Time is called. You win.
Exactly. And that, of course, is the play there. So what do? I zero in on my lack of sleep head, zeroes in on the fact that I haven't normal summoned yet.
Yep, so obviously the correct answer here is to normal summon.
Right, so I go Tai, not remembering that I don't have a way to get Longyan. So I search Tai, normal summon Tai, activate effect, make Draco Berserker of the Tenyi, pass. Wait a minute.
You could have just had game there.
Yes, I absolutely could have.
But man, we all make mistakes like that. The biggest thing I remember, there are two major things I remember from that tournament. I don't remember my individual matchups. One of them was a horrendous mistake.
Well, that was a horrendous mistake for me.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember the exact situation where it came up, but basically it was I just had it and I just lost it. It'll probably hit me later.
Yeah.
But the other thing I very distinctly remember was one of my games I lost the die roll and I was like, man, that sucks. And I opened Valor Nib.
Right.
I was like, man, this is Source Hold Tenyi. I got Source Hold Tenyi. I got his goat. Normal summon Tai, or the one that's like revealed to get the token.
Moyi.
Yeah, normal summon Moyi. And I was like, I got his goat. And I just set my hand down and leaned back to win. It's good. It's good. It's good. Until he goes, okay, end phase. Before you enter main phase. At this point, he's got like Chi Zhao, Draco Berserker, and Baron. I go, before you attempt to end, no. He kind of has a little smile and goes, points at his Baron and goes, negate, Valor.
Rip.
And he just slowly puts his head in his hands and just goes, no.
Dude, at the YCS, I got Nib Valored or Nib Impermed more times than I can count. Okay, getting off track.
Yeah, but that was the big thing I remember.
Yeah. So round 3, I get a tie in Kenner. So at this point, I'm 1-1-1. Round 4, I play against Cyber Dragons, which I win. Round 5, I play against another listener. I found this out later. That Chase, I remember your name, Chase, if you're out there. What's up? I played against Dragon Link, which I lost. So at this point, I'm 2-2-1. Round 6 was... I don't quite remember what round 6 was. Oh, I remember why I don't remember round 6. Because my opponent didn't show up.
Oh.
So at this point, I'm 3-2-1. And then the final round of the day, I don't remember what it was, but I know I won. So that overall put my record at 4-2-1, which was good enough for 21st place.
We take those.
Honestly, yeah. I mean, to be just shy of topping the event with such a stacked class of people there.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Fluanderies. I played against Fluanderies the final round, and it was a really, really, really weird game. I won't go into all the details, but that was a really weird game with a really weird game state.
I mean, I would imagine.
Yeah, it was really weird. So,
yeah. But I will say the weirdest hand I had that entire day was because I I didn't say this earlier. I'm playing for all 3 events. I played Burning PK, DPE with like a Burning Abyss package of like Graf and Seer,
Right.
Turgai, Kakamucha Knight, Magician Souls, which was a super cool card. One of my hands, I opened Graf Seer.
Rip.
No, that's not terrible actually. I was kind of
Really?
yeah. At first I was like, oh no, I bricked, and then I kind of stared at it and went, wait a minute. Normal summon Seer special Graf. Link 2 into Cherub. Effective Seer, get Graf back. Effective Cherub. And I was like, it's full combo. It's just straight up full combo. Not like the big fancy combo where I can end with like Appaloosa 2.
Right.
But I was
It's
able to...
enough.
Yeah, I was able to... Because I also had Call by the Grave and Cross Out in my hand as well.
Ooh.
So I just kind of went, this is full combo. Boom. You know, full on DP, Scythe Lock. I had I only had 1 Fogblade set, unfortunately. But I also had...
Fogblade in the Graveyard with Rusty on Field and...
I had Wings Engrave.
Oh, okay.
With Rusty on Field and...
Breaksword Engrave.
Breaksword. So then I ended my turn by effective DP to pop itself and Verte to clear out that zone. Because then I still have Dagda.
Right.
So then his turn. So then he does his turn. I Scythe Lock. He passes. I attempted to just straight up OTK. Couldn't quite get there. Passed. But I kept Dagda on board. So DP pop Dagda Scythe Lock again.
Oh, man. So, overall, I think the Kenner Regional was so fun. And I really hope that they do more events in that venue run by the side deck. Because it was just top tier, honestly.
Oh, yeah. And, like, it was so hot that day. But then, like, around noon where it was starting to get, like, peak heat. That wind from the lake blew in.
Oh, yeah.
And just cooled it all back down.
Yeah, the Pontchartrain Convention Center is literally right next to Lake Pontchartrain. So it was warm, but with a nice, cool lake breeze all day. I'm serious. It was like the perfect event.
There's like just a couple of white clouds in the sky.
Oh, yeah, it was perfect. Yeah, I really
Beautiful.
cannot. If you ever see another Kenner Regional, specifically one at the Pontchartrain Convention Center and run by the side deck,
Go.
Yeah,
Definitely go.
Even if you have to like fly in, if it's something that you can feasibly do, oh my goodness. It was like the best regional I've been to regionals in regular card shops. I've been to regionals in bookstores,
Hotels,
school gymnasiums.
I've been to a regional. It wasn't Yu-Gi-Oh! Regional, but I've been to a regional that took place in a Wendy's.
Okay, I've never done that.
Yeah, it was a Pokemon regional.
Wow. Yeah, I've been to them literally in shops, in bookstores, in school gymnasiums, in hotels, convention centers. I've been to regionals in all kinds of places. At cons, at YCS's. Mm-hmm. That was the best regional I've ever been to. The best one I've ever attended. Without a second thought.
So I just want to take a moment to give a round of applause to
the side deck.
Yeah, side deck over in South Carolina.
Yeah.
It's also a cafe. It's a card shop and cafe.
Yes, the Side Deck Gaming Cafe. They are awesome. The vendors that work for them are amazing. Shout out Dallas. Honestly, just everybody that is associated with them. They were extremely professional. They ran the event so tight knit, and they never took a break. The one downside to that event was a 12-year-old kid got his bag stolen with all kinds of stuff. Mm-hmm. And that is absolutely abhorrent. If you're out there and you're listening to this podcast, quit.
How dare you?
We don't want you as a listener.
Like seriously, a 12-year-old, how dare you?
Yeah, it was without a doubt one of the most horrible things.
Yeah. There was a
thievery at all at a Yu-Gi-Oh event is just uncalled for, completely unacceptable on any level. And I know that it being a 12-year-old kid shouldn't make it worse because it's terrible no matter what, but it is.
Yeah.
It's abhorrent. Just seriously,
Dude, there are some people talking about setting up a manhunt to go look for him.
I know somebody that was. I'm not going to say who it was. I know somebody that at the Mendenhall Regional was literally walking around with a wooden stake. Like, they were so mad about the thievery.
Yeah.
It's so unacceptable. And I'm not going to say that resorting to violence is the answer if you find somebody like this, but
the fact that the thievery has gotten to that kind of
it's
level.
absolutely abhorrent. Yeah. So, the Kenner Regional was overall a really great experience, though. And I would really recommend it to anybody. And then the next thing that I'm going to say is we're going to take a quick moment before we get into all of our thoughts about the YCS to thank our sponsor, ETB Games in Alexandria, Louisiana. Thank you so much for your sponsorship of the podcast. We, of course, want to say ETB Games is our locals in Alexandria, Louisiana. They are your one-stop shop for everything card game related for Yu-Gi-Oh!, Pokemon, Digimon, Magic the Gathering. You can get deck boxes, sleeves, binders, anything that you need, singles, sealed product, everything that you need. And, of course, with all of that being said, be sure to check them out at the link down in the description below. And before I forget, I also want to thank, we have a new review on Apple Podcasts.
Heck yeah.
5 stars, good and consistent, from Invoked Fart. You know what?
I love it.
Yeah. Consistent uploads, helps my boomer self stay up to date with new cards, gets interesting guests from various aspects of the game, cool dudes, except one of them likes Madolce, so I almost made it a 4-star review. That's fair.
Excuse me.
It's fair. Don't say it's not. It's fair. So, with all of that said, let's go ahead on and get into our thoughts on YCS Charlotte.
Yeah, boy.
Yeah, YCS Charlotte was a heck of an experience. I mean, this one was also run by the side deck, so without question, it was a well-run event. It was well put together, and honestly, 10 out of 10 would do again.
Yeah. The drive was rough, but
What do you mean the drive was rough? You slept the whole time.
not the whole time, like half of it,
It was more than half.
roughly. It was still kind of a rough drive just due to the distance. Cause boy, when I got out of that car for when we got to the Airbnb, oh, I could feel it in my legs. All 14 hours, 13 and a half hours. Oh man.
Yeah. So it was interesting. So we got there at like 11 o'clock on Friday. We hung out for a little bit, checked in the Airbnb. We went to the venue around 12-ish, around 1:30 actually. Checked in, confirmed all of our bookings and everything for the YCS. And we hung out, got some trades done, handled all the stuff we wanted to handle. And from there, we just kind of hung out for a few hours back at the Airbnb around 5:15. Hung out, did some play testing on that Friday night. Mm-hmm. Got up Saturday, we went and did the event. So it was 9 rounds on Saturday and two rounds of Swiss on Sunday, and then all of top 32.
Yeah, and then single elimination from there.
Right. So it goes somewhat along the lines of so I remember, actually, you know what? We typed it all out.
Yes, we did. We were smart this time.
Right. Round 1, I played against Prank's Adventure, which I lost, mostly because he just had everything. He had like nib, imperm, and all that multiple times.
Yo, it happens, man. My round 1 was against Flow Wonderies. I kid you not. I win the die roll, draw for turn, draw phase, standby. And he's kind of looking at his hand. And he goes, give me a second. I was like, okay. Shifter.
Rip.
I was like, you had to think about that? He goes, dude, it's been a long trip. I'm like, fair. Okay, fair.
And then game 2, he did the same thing.
Game 2, I go first. Draw, and he goes, and he just immediately shifters me again. just immediate. I'm like,
Ripperoni.
double shifter. He goes, yeah, I'm sorry.
Round 2, I played against Sky Striker, which I won. That was a fun game. Game 3, he put me on 100 life. And then I go into my turn, draw for turn, and then just make Cheng Ying and attack over one of his strikers. And we had like 15 combined banished cards, and it ended the game.
So, Sorcerer Tenyi. My round 2 was Sorcerer Tenyi. Like, almost exactly Sunny's build. Almost. So game 1, I just kind of scythe locked him to death. Game 2, I went, my normal combo line, and I had an extender in hand. So, like, I normal summoned a level 3, got 2 more out, because one of them was, Tracker.
Yeah.
So then Mage Cherub with Tracker, and the ones who have the Dark on field. Effective Cherub, send Fiendish Rhino Warrior.
Yep.
And he looks at it, kind of cocks his head, and he picks up and reads it, and then his eyes go real wide, and I realize he knows.
Yeah.
But there's a key thing he doesn't know. I have the token collector in my hand,
Oh.
and he ashes it,
Oh, man.
and I go, it's good. And I just go throughout my entire combo. He also had a nib in hand, so he also nibbed me, so I passed on a wonderful board of a Nibiru token.
Right.
Well, Nibiru token and an active DPE.
That makes a difference.
So I at least have the DPE going. So he draws for turn and goes, man, I'm glad you didn't have token collector. Normal summon Moyi, reveal, token collector.
Oh, rip.
He's like, you had it in hand too? And I was like, I only run one.
Yeah.
And from there, he just could not keep up.
Right. Round 3, I played against Sword Soul Tenyi. I lost that match. He literally just had nib and perm both games. So,
Rough.
yeah, there's just nothing I could do about that.
My round 3 is Blue Eyes.
Nice.
At one point, he had me in a position to where I couldn't target any of his dragons with anything, and I couldn't destroy them with anything. So I'm sitting there, what do I do? What do I do? And then I realized, wait a minute. It only says others. I'm going second. I just make access so pop his other stuff, game.
Nice. So, round 4, I played against Cyber Dragons. I won that game. It honestly wasn't close. He had to read all my cards. He was a little bit newer on the game, which is fine. It's not a big deal. I'm happy that he came to the event and showed up. But I did 2-0 him fairly mercilessly because I needed the win.
BW Punk. I lost.
Gotcha.
He was just a better player.
Yeah.
It was a good back and forth game. We went into game 3. It almost went to time. Ultimately, though, he got the win.
Round 5, I played against Cybers Eldritch. He won the die roll. I impermed. He went full combo, and then I impermed on his Verte Anaconda, so he was on 6,000 life. And then I just OTK'd him the next turn. And then game 2, he once again went full combo, except when he went to Verte, I went, before he activated Verte, I went Nibiru, and he set a couple and passed. And then I drew for turn, and it was Red Reboot, which was really nice.
Ooh, very nice.
Yep. So I played out my entire combo. When he tried to interrupt me with trap cards, I played Red Reboot, and I won the game right there. Yeah. It was great.
My round 5 was against Tri Brigade Lear Lusk. Round 1, he got game. He was just the better player.
Yeah.
Game 2, I'm going first, and I open DD Crow and Lancia, and I'm like, oh. I attempt to go board. He's able to stop me from going board. And then he goes Fractal Kit. I DD Crow the kit. He goes, okay. Nerval, search Karis. Pitches another Nerval in his hand, a special Karis.
Right.
And on summon Lancia.
Right.
And then I just finish him off. Game 3, I open Lancia. He goes first. I just immediately Lancia him as soon as he puts the Karis on board. The same thing.
Right.
He goes, all right, cool, pass. Drop for turn, standby, Lancia. I said, you live by the Lancia, you die by the Lancia. And he starts laughing. My draw for turn was my other Lancia. So I do as best I can. I have DP going, pass. And he goes, draw phase, standby, Lancia.
Nice.
And he goes, oh, you got it. Double Lancia, man.
Yep. Round 6, I played against Dino. I lost this match because in game 3, I made a very crucial and critical misplay that straight out lost me the game. And I went ahead and dropped.
Yeah. I had Code Talkers. I lost a die roll, and then all I had for hand traps is Ash. He U-locked me, so I couldn't link summon because he had, because he had co-linked all the way around, and none of his link monsters in the zones could actually point into my zones. And I had Nightmare Corrupted Ibly on my board, so I could only, so the only special one I could do was a link summon.
Right.
Can't do it. So I'm like, okay, let's go to game 2. Game 2, I brick. Hard brick. Like, set a Fogblade, pass.
Rip.
And he goes, and he just kind of looks at me, he just kind of looks at it and just goes, Twin Twister? And then you link board again and OTK. I was like, yeah. I was like, and then after I was like, you look familiar. And he's sitting there thinking about it. He's like, what locals do you go to? I told him, he's like, no, I don't go to any one of those. Were you in Mendenhall like 2 weeks ago at a 3v3? I was like, yeah. And I recognized, I was like, wait a minute, the Salamangreat player who turbo bricked. He's like, a brick for a brick, my friend. He's like,
yeah,
I just went a brick for brick.
Yeah.
And we parted ways with a little mutual understanding and respect.
Yeah, it was really a wonderful event all around. Well run, well put together, of course, by the side deck again. The vendors were giving out good prices. The people there were awesome. It was great to hear that duelists, you have 45 minutes, you may begin at the start of round 1.
Mm-hmm.
There were a round of applause when that happened. And a huge shout out to all the people that came up and had us sign stuff and we got to take pictures with. It was really surreal. And then, of course, a huge shout out to all the content creators and pro players and stuff that put up with us asking for pictures. So we got to meet a ton of great people. We got to meet Mega Capital G, Distant Coder, MBT, Tombox,
Fifth Rate Duelist,
Zara Khan. Absolutely.
Far nicer than you would ever believe.
What do you mean? She's always been nice.
Yes, but like, however nice you think she is, she's
even nicer.
She's much nicer than even that.
We got to meet the Trifts, Team Sam X1. We got to meet Elise Davis. We got to meet Jesse Cotton. And we got to meet Cody Angeloff. We got to meet Rafael Nevin, Pac, Hani. It was just everybody that you would want to meet at an event. It was literally DZeef was there, Nim was there. I mean, just everybody was there, and it was so great because everybody just went out of their way to have fun.
Oh yeah, it was amazing actually getting to meet them, shake their hand.
Right.
Actually getting to see some of these people we've already talked with face to face finally.
Absolutely.
So nice.
So, with all that said, be sure to tune into the next episode. We're going to do
all kinds of new cards.
Yeah, lots of new cards, a YCS meta breakdown, if we had time, maybe some ban list discussion.
Maybe.
But we're going to keep this episode a lot shorter than normal.
Because we're tired.
Yeah, we're very tired. And I'm going to be honest, I do have something that I need to get to. I've been out of town all weekend, and it's time for some family time and to spend time with people. So,
oh, absolutely.
We hope you all understand. I know that we've been gone for a week, and then we come back to a short episode. But with all that said, thank you all so much for listening to today's episode of the Top Cut Podcast. My name is Sunny.
I'm Caleb, as always.
And thank you so much for listening. Have a great, great day, everybody.
Take care, everyone.